Hi there, my name is Brice Ferguson, and I'm a realtor with the Hanley Homes Group with Keller Williams Island Life Real Estate. I'm joined today with a mortgage loan originator. Her name is Courtney Flood, and she's with Supreme Lending right here in sunny Venice, Florida. Courtney, say hi to the audience.
Hey, everybody. Thanks, Brice, for having me.
Absolutely my pleasure. I'm glad you could make it. I know you're crazy busy, that the market right now is just super hot and you're helping all kinds of families. So I appreciate you taking a couple of minutes to be with us today. First and foremost, let's dig right into it. Obviously, the world of lending is always changing. I can't imagine that a pandemic and a financial crisis changes that very much, that it's probably very chaotic. But what are you actually seeing out there? What's going on?
Well, let's start with the good news. Obviously, everybody's probably heard the buzz that rates are at historic lows. Actually, last week ended at the lowest levels for average mortgage interest rates for the most recent 2 months. So,
Awesome.
um, in that department, things are going really well, and there obviously couldn't be a better time for eligible home buyers to get out there and finance their home purchase. We've obviously seen a lot of refinance
I bet.
business coming in, although largely we're a purchase-driven business, so a lot of the refinance business goes towards the larger banking institutions, the depository institutions. We really try and stay focused on purchase transactions because
Okay.
those are the ones that are on a timeline, right? You've got a contract, you've got a
Oh, yeah.
certain number of days to close. There's earnest money on the
Deadlines
line.
matter.
Yes,
Absolutely.
exactly.
Absolutely.
Now, I can't say that there hasn't been some impact on the markets since all of this began. Obviously, the COVID-19 pandemic has had a significant economic impact. Obviously, as of last week, 14.7% unemployment, 20
Right.
million jobs lost in April. Obviously, this puts some pressure on the credit markets. And the biggest way we've seen that play out is the reduction in some of the more exotic mortgage products. Those are sort of exiting the mortgage lending arena. Jumbo financing is getting a little bit harder. They're raising, obviously, FICO scores, requiring
I
larger
heard
down
about that.
payments for
Yep.
those types of products. But for the average home buyer, the biggest impact is that we've seen credit score thresholds move up. Even
Mm,
just a few months ago, credit scores below 600 were really okay,
right.
and probably about 25% of loans that were originated up until that point. So a pretty significant piece of the pie when you talk about more home loans being created. So we've seen, generally speaking, and every mortgage lender will be a little bit different, but for us, minimum thresholds are at 640 for FHA. Conventional still goes down to 620. But major banking institutions, Chase even announced maybe a month ago that they required 700 credit scores and a minimum 20% down payment.
That's a big
Um,
jump.
so that's a very significant change that we've seen. But that doesn't go to say, there's a lot of ways to respond when we're in sort of a crisis, and I think easily we can label this pandemic that.
I
Certainly
absolutely.
economically, we're in uncharted territory. So, uh, you know, we have to respond and figure out, how do we help people move forward. So I wanted to let you know that we spend a lot of time focusing, and personally in my business, I always try to help my clients who maybe have a couple of things on the credit report that are bringing their score down. If I see the potential for them to get 30, 40, 50 points on the score with a few relatively easy tasks, I'm going to tell them to do that, and I'm going to
Thank you
tell
for
them
that.
how to do that, because we
Absolutely.
all know the cost of financing is higher the lower the credit score is.
Yes.
So I've been kind of operating the way that I always have, in that I've always helped my clients do things to help improve their credit score. So if there are people out there who are considering, going to purchase a home and maybe have some questions about that, I would suggest, talk to a mortgage loan officer who can give you some strategic steps that you can take to improve your scores. And a
Great
little bit
advice.
of more information on that, I would say careful about trusting Credit Karma or other
Mm.
sites that may offer you credit advice, because a lot of times that advice is specific to your consumer credit score. And what you really need to be working on is your mortgage FICO score. And those are two totally different scoring models. There are even some things that you can do on your Credit Karma score that can actually hurt your mortgage FICO score. So it
Gotta
would be
love
a
how that works.
that's unfair. So it is hard when consumers come to me and say, I paid off all this debt, I did all of these things, Credit Karma tells me this, and then I say,
Uh-huh.
oh, I wish you had talked to me before you did those things. So
I can
we are
relate to
actually
that.
yeah, we're actually hosting a credit essentials class every Friday
Okay.
for home buyers to be able to just start that conversation and learn some general things about mortgage FICO scores, and general things that they could do credit wise to help improve their scores.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So if you could give one tip for someone who's going to buy, whether it's tomorrow or 6 months from now, what's the one takeaway someone could start working on today to make sure that their chances for financing were most successful?
I think I think credit score is going to be my number one, because again, it's going to impact how much the financing costs, and it's going to impact eligibility. Even sometimes if the credit score is where it needs to be, there could still be credit items that need to be addressed before financing, can be possible. So
Gotcha.
I would say, if you're looking to buy a house and you know that your credit score is potentially below a 700, link up with a mortgage loan officer who can advise you and help you get on the right path. And of course, save, save, save.
We wish everybody would be able to save, save, save. Absolutely. Well, speaking
Yes.
of getting linked up with a great mortgage loan officer, how can someone get a hold of you if they have further questions?
Well, I can certainly provide my contact information on the thread here that you're posting.
Perfect.
But my email address is courtney.flood@supremelending.com. You can reach out to me there. I'll also share with you, Brice, the information for our Credit Essentials course
Sure,
that
absolutely. We'd
happens
love to
on
link through to
on
that.
Fridays at 1 o'clock. In fact, if you have time, I can pop that up here.
Sure, go ahead. Yeah, if you can get it on the screen for us, that'd be
Yeah,
fantastic.
let me pop that up here for us.
One thing that I've learned from years in the mortgage industry myself to now being a full-time realtor is that people need to make sure that they're listing their are listening to their trusted advisors.
That's
People have a
exactly
great tendency to ask questions and get advice, but that advice doesn't do you any good unless you're going to actually apply it and listen to the instruction you receive. So on the screen
that's
now, we should see the information regarding the Credit Essentials for Home Buyers course. And let's see, it is every Friday at 1 p.m. Does it show on there how we get into the Zoom? It's
Supreme South. Yeah, it's at the
www.supremesouth.com
bottom of
slash
the little
credit
square.
101.
Yep.
Perfect. We will also get a direct link to that here in the posting so that people can access that. That's Fridays at 1 p.m. Eastern, correct?
Yes, sir. That's it.
Perfect. Well, I want to thank you so much for joining us today. As always, your information is invaluable, and hopefully, we'll be able to get a lot of people into your class. They can start getting their credit in order, make sure that when it's time for them to buy a house, they're ready to go.
Thanks, Brice. I appreciate it.
Thanks, Courtney. You take care.
Yes, sir.